Hello there, Danny H Retro Gaming Master again, and here I have probably my most expensive items. I'm going to do a talk, before I get into that, I'm going to talk about the price of retro and obviously my thoughts on it, my 2 pence on it, shall we say. Um, Now, obviously this is a big subject of debate at the moment, obviously how much things are going for and how much prices are for buying retro games. Um, so, obviously let me take you through what I've got here. This is my NES Deluxe set. It's got Rob the Robot and everything with it. It's got a few things in it, as you can see, a bit of wear on the edge there. But it's all in very good condition, considering the box is 35, 36 years old. Um, so yeah, it's quite an old system. Obviously, the NES console, just pause video, and NES console there is, as you can see, plugged into my telly. I think you might have seen a bit of that in my video with the Xbox that I've got back that had been repaired and modded and what have you. Anyway, back to the box with the rubber robot and the price of retro. So yeah, obviously this is a big subject of debate. People getting out of buying retro games for a variety of reasons because they want to cash out, which is totally understandable. You know, they might want to save space, they might not fancy collecting anymore, which is, you know, totally understandable. You know, I mean, it's obviously, you know, I mean, retro gaming is going for an awful lot of money, as you can see with these lot. I paid £200 for the NES Deluxe set with Rob a few years back, and Terranigma, the game there, the SNES game you see there, very, very desirable, very rare game, nearly as expensive as the most expensive SNES games, which are Mega Man X2 and 3. That is going there. I paid £160 for that. If I sold the NES system, I could get about 500-600 for that. And Terranigma, I saw copies of that on eBay for, I saw one copy on eBay go for about, I think two copies went for about, in the same condition as that, went for about 800 or 900 quid. So anyway, let me take you back to this system and the price of retro. Basically, the price of retro is what it is, really. I mean, retro games, as they get rarer, systems get older and everything, and obviously people hang on to them more, like I'm doing, and hang on to them for a lot longer. The prices are going to harden quite considerably. The fact is, though, I mean, the console systems that are very desirable back in the day are holding their value extremely well. And obviously, the fact is, let's put this into perspective. I could sell this NES with the Rubber Robot and the console for the grand sum of about 500-600. I can go out and get a PlayStation 5. But let me put that into perspective. A brand new Mercedes or BMW could cost, top of the range Mercedes or BMW could cost about £40,000, and you could buy a nice classic car like an Escort RS Turbo or something for about the same money. But obviously, the Mercedes and BMW will come down in value, whereas the Escort RS Turbo will, you know, is on the ascendancy in value. It will go up. It will go up, and it will continue to go up because these cars are getting quite rare, and obviously they're getting very rare on the market these days as people are hanging onto them for longer. Now, obviously, I understand why people want to sell systems, obviously save space, make some money, you know, obviously cash in, you know, for various other things like mortgage, brand new, putting money away for a deposit on a house for mortgage, buy a new car, you know, various reasons, loads of reasons. Saving space, you know. However, the only problem with that is, I mean, I don't need to do that at the moment myself. And the problem with that is that you get some people, and this is what annoys me a little bit, is that some people try and sort of say they're getting fed up, and they want to try and they're saying people should be getting out and not investing in retro games anymore. And I just think, I mean, if they don't want to carry on with retro games, that's fine, but don't try and persuade other people to do the same as what they're doing, because that's just not on. You know, I think that's really bad. I mean, I mean, it's just, I mean, retro games, I mean, newer games, you know, with a few exceptions, with a few notable exceptions, like for some hidden gem games, are always going to be a bit cheaper. But a lot of retro games, especially if they're boxed, like the Nintendo NES ones, Nintendo NES, SNES, and what have you, because obviously they're cardboard, whereas the Segas have clamshell plastic boxes. With the exception of the Master System and the, I think the, I'm not sure about the Sega Saturn, I haven't had a boxed game for a Sega Saturn recently. But the fact is, I mean, the older games are getting very, very expensive indeed in value. Some of them, with few exceptions. I mean, some of them are not going for a lot. I mean, obviously, I understand that. I know that as well. There are some 70s and 80s games that barely go for a few quid. And there are some 70s and 80s games like Atari's Red River Crossing, for example, which is extremely rare and expensive, is going for like £10,000–15,000. That was highlighted in one of my most expensive retro game videos. But, you know, I really don't think people should stop people from collecting. If people want to carry on collecting, then people should carry on collecting. If they don't want to collect anymore, if people don't want to collect, like they want to cash out for whatever reason, then that's fine. You know, people should just live and let live, I think, personally. That's my opinion on it. I mean, if you want to carry on collecting and want to get into video collecting, then get into it. I mean, obviously, the way prices of retro are going, you're going to need pretty deep pockets. But obviously, there are ways around that. I mean, you can use eBay, CEX, car boots, charity shops, and what have you for the you know, to your advantage, and you know, trade some games in for some more expensive ones. You know, I mean, it is a good way of getting some better games and better quality and rarer games, which will undoubtedly increase in value after a while. But I don't think people but I think, you know, I just don't like it when people say, well, I'm not doing it and I suggest that everyone else does the same, because no one's going to be a vigilante in this. You know, you're not going to be a vigilante, and prices are not going to come down anytime soon for video games just because you want them to come down. They just can't. They just won't. I mean, it's like antiques and old retro toys. They're gonna. I mean, a lot of them get more and more expensive, especially if they're rare limited editions and they're what the collectors want. So anyway, guys, that's my little thoughts on the price of retro. Obviously, the moral of the story, I think, for me, is just everyone just live and let live. Take care, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.